Our next guest knows Brian Graham really well. He's the one, actually, Greg, who introduced me to Brian. And so, as you see his resume right in front of your eyes, Buck Showalter, he has been around baseball for so many years. We have such a great relationship, one of the smartest people I know in the game. But, Buck, I'll tell you what, tell us a little bit about Brian before we dive into this.
Oh, I tell you, this guy's kind of falling in your lap, Harold. He's as good a baseball man as I've ever been around. Organized, prepared, knows the game backwards and forwards, and has great people skills. You know, anybody that comes to his camp is going to love Brian Graham. He's not trying to show you how tough he is, but knowledge just reeks from this guy. He's special, and he's a perfect guy to lead this. If I had a player under my supervision, Brian Graham's the guy I'd want there.
So, Buck, let's dive into talking about the Combine. And the first thing that comes to mind for me, you've been around and helped build so many organizations. I'm wondering, what was your first thoughts when you heard Major League Baseball is going to have a Combine? You have the high school players and the college players all in one spot.
Well, the first thing I did was put myself in their shoes. You know, as a junior coming out of Mississippi State and a junior college transfer, I would have the thought of being invited to come to this. It was kind of like being invited to the Cape Cod League, or back then the Alaskan League. It's the best of the best. And doesn't mean someone who isn't invited or doesn't come can't be a great player in the big leagues, but what a feather in your cap. If you're thinking about going or not going, you better go, because next year you're going to look back and go, boy, I wish I'd have gone. What a special thing. This has got a chance to really morph into something special for our game, and most importantly for the kids who are playing it and the young men trying to get there.
So, Buck, one of the things you've always talked about, you and I, athleticism and athletes. And if you go back and look at your teams, the organizations that you've helped build and players you've drafted, athleticism was so important. What would you be looking for in the Combine as you watch players? What drills, what thoughts, what would be going through your mind?
You know, everything Brian and the staff is going to do there is, one, it's going to keep them healthy. You know, their health is going to be number one. Number two, they're going to try to do things that show their skills. They're not going to try to obviously embarrass anybody, which they probably couldn't do with this group. You know, it doesn't take a stopwatch. We're going to get readings. We're going to be able to get the things to go off of, velocity, spin rates, everything that goes into some of the evaluation. But the other part of it is the intangibles, the things that you're going to be able to get. If I could only pick one thing I could do to evaluate a player here, I'd want that conversation I had with him behind closed doors for 15 or 20 minutes. You know, I think the skills will jump out at you. You know, from a competitive nature, all guys want to see how they stack up against some of the best in the country. Now those kids from the Northeast that have only played 10 or 15 games in high school, you know, they're going to be on a level playing field with somebody from California, Texas, or Florida, or Georgia. And you're going to get a chance. And everybody's, you know, has been playing. They're ready to go. Everybody's healthy. And believe me, no one is going to understand the importance of the health of the players more than Brian Graham. You know, the foot speed, the clocks, all the evaluation tools. But the other part of it, you know, I want to see how their body moves. I want to see how they respond to any type of adversity. I want to see a lot of intangible things that only a trained eye would be able to see. You know, how do they transfer the ball? Is there a fluidity to their game? How does their body work when they're turning the bases? You know, a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of track stars that couldn't play baseball. And there's a lot of guys that can throw the ball 100 miles an hour that can't have success in the big leagues. It's the other things. Do they have a grasp of a breaking ball? Are they coachable? Are they receptive? Do they have a good face? Do they have good body language when they're – and how do they get along with the rest of the players there? These are some of the things you're looking for. You know, do they interact easily? Do the things that challenge a guy being in the big leagues, the trappings of big leagues, will it challenge him? When I first met Derek Jeter and spent some time with him at 18 years old, I knew that he had a lot of things going for him other than just physical ability.
You know, Buck, it's a resounding theme. You know, the talent will take care of itself, but that conversation is so important. So explain to the young men that are watching right now and young women that are watching, why is so important that conversation, that one-on-one?
Well, you know, I had an old Mel Didier used to say, eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button. You know, when you get to see somebody face to face, and it doesn't mean you have to have some special spiel. I think sincerity in players is one of the things I look for, their ability to make their teammates better. Are you going to be able to trust them? And you're saying, boy, can you get that from a 15, 20-minute conversation? Oh, yes, you can. You know, how do they interact with their mom and dad or their sister or brother or uncle who's there, and just because, and they don't have to come from a fluent family. They don't have to come from, the perfect backdrop, but you can tell very quickly how hungry they are for this and what's going to happen the first time there's a bump in the road, because there will be a bump in the road.
Well, that's Greg telling me I got to go. He's in the other studio calling
Exactly.
you.
How'd you know?
I just know how he works. I know how it is. Buck, great stuff, my man. Appreciate you. And we will see you down the road. And we'll see you at the Combine, okay? At least in coverage
Harold, great
anyway.
idea. Good luck to you.